Living in a daydream. Ooh, such a sweet thing. Life on the big screen. It's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
Hello, Jacob.
What's up, Nathan?
I always have to make sure
I was waiting
you're
for you
there.
to go first.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh. So,
I do want to comment for our Spotify and Apple Music listeners. You might want to head over to YouTube for this one because you might notice our video's looking a little sharper today, which is going to be what this entire episode's about.
yeah, use Jake's angle because mine, I'm just playing with the window right here, so the sun's going to be going in and out.
Hold up, my focus is Scawampus.
Skiwampus.
My focus isn't working.
It should work. Just click on your face.
There we go. Well, it took a while. I
Mine's
just can't look left or right. Anyway,
really, mine's looking
wow,
great.
off to
Are
a
you
horrible
serious?
start.
Well, this is your
Off to a-
first time. Yeah, you're like 10 minutes into using it. It works
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
You guys, we've switched from Canon to Sony.
We did.
There's no dancing around it.
Yeah.
We have officially switched sides.
No hate to Canon either. We're not one of those guys.
A little bit, but
Well,
no.
a few. Well,
Yeah.
no.
No, this is big.
Not like complaining. You know, they were great cameras. It was just our
Well-
needs needed something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to turn off my transparency mode because I hate that. 1 second. Also, guys, sorry if you hear my dog. Yeah. Okay. So we've officially switched to Sony.
We did.
And again, you guys are like, well, what's new? Everyone has. It's like, yeah, like we're not the first. We won't be the last. This isn't new news. Many creators have done it. We're nothing special. But I think the interesting part about it is that Nathan and I both have started on Canon.
We've preached Canon.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I've always loved Canon. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of why we switched from Canon to Sony. Probably nothing you haven't heard other creators talk about when they made the switch, but the big difference that we're going to expound on a lot is it takes a lot to switch ecosystems.
It does.
Like a ton. Like you don't think about just like changing cameras, but all of a sudden all of our lenses that we've spent the last 10 years of our careers saving up for and buying for specific looks and needs are now useless.
Completely useless.
Batteries, which are expensive, are now useless.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Yeah, like adapters, lenses, gear. Like it's all, you're changing your whole ecosystem. LUTs that we use, conversion LUTs.
Yep.
It's all a whole new world.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So
It's
last
pretty fun,
week,
though.
what triggered this, Nathan? What? Well, I know some recent
Oh, wow.
projects triggered us, but we'll talk about that a lot. But like, what was the moment where I was like, yeah, post your camera for sale and see if it sells? What moment was that?
Well, I'm just readjusting my exposure here. Again, guys, use Jake's camera for comparison here because I'm going to be in the pitch black and the burning hot sun. But anyway, the moment that it did, well, let's preface it with this. We've been kind of on the fence. Not kind of, we have been on the fence for
Right.
the past year. And I think social media has really just made it worse because you see so many
Yeah.
beautiful reels and the Sony FX3 is just popping
Yeah.
off. And we know a
Right.
lot of people who shoot with the FX3. So we've really been on the fence and we love the low light. And a couple of months ago, we
Because
started shooting.
we were on the C70. That's important
Right,
to know.
right. We're on the Canon C70, beautiful camera. And a couple months ago, we started shooting for this casino and lots of low lights. Again,
Pitch black even.
yeah, pitch black. We're talking like one light bulb to light
Yeah.
a 4,000 square foot room.
Just like pictures like dark clubs, dark
Yeah.
restaurants, things like
Yeah.
that. Candlelight only.
And the Canon C70 was really, it holds up when we were shooting with raw light. But it just, I don't know. We've thrown it out so many times that, hey, we should get a Sony FX3 at some point. And last week, we were on a call. And just at the end of the call, we were done with all business talk. And we just said, hey, you know what, mate? We should get a Sony FX3. And then I remember I said that to you, like, hey, we really should at some point. And I had all my tabs open. I was looking at like emails and stuff like that. And I just hear you dead quiet. And I'm like, did I lose him? Did he already hang up or something? And I swipe over to the Zoom and you're just staring into space, just biting your lip. Just, And then you're like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And finally, for the first time, we were both 100% just on board to just full send right there.
Yeah.
So you said, list your camera. If it sells, I'll list mine. And so that sounded like a good little compromise. It was like almost a way of telling if it was meant to be. So I listed mine. It sold within 20 minutes. And
not just sold, it was out of your hands within 20
out of my
minutes.
hands. Yeah.
Someone picked it up.
Yeah. The guy texted me. He said, hey, by the way, I'm in American Fork, which is just one city over from where I live. He said, I can swing by. And I said, great. And he was at my house in 3 minutes. And I didn't get...
All before one of our highest paying weddings of the year.
Yes.
The week of. We decided to switch
Yes.
our entire ecosystem of
Completely.
cameras.
And yeah, didn't get to say goodbye. Gave mine away. You were shocked. And then you listed yours within 20
Using
minutes.
the same photo that you used to sell yours. I just reposted it. Sold instantly.
And I'm pretty sure people saw through our propaganda. We kept saying extra C70 for sale.
Yeah.
But lots of people knew that we only had 3.
I just
and
didn't
they're
want to
like,
start
"Hang
the
on."
switching conversation yet. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, but
It was too fresh.
this-
Too much, too soon.
Too much too soon. But the second you post the C70, people are going to raise their eyebrows and say, why are they selling their C70?
Yeah.
So everyone was asking, are you guys switching to Sony? And so this is us just saying officially yes.
It was meant to be. And so
Yeah.
now we're in the process of buying G Master lenses, trying to sell off everything. So guys, if you're in the market, if you're looking to buy some EF lenses or some cameras, we have some camera R8s for sale, and some other Canon things. Just shoot us a DM. We probably have some things that we could sell for. We'd rather sell to our community before we just throw it onto the internet. So let us know. So here's kind of what's crazy to me. So Nate and I started on the 5D Mark IV. We both had that camera, right? Nate, you had the 5D Mark IV.
Yeah, before that I had the Canon 60D though.
Okay. And then we upgraded to the 1DX, which the reason, and people still use the 1DX and they're right to use it still, it shoots in motion JPEGs. So when I was kind of getting my name out there, when I was kind of establishing myself as a videographer, all my clips just were so sharp because it's on the 1DX, which shoots motion JPEGs, huge file sizes, but every photo, every frame is like a picture. Looks so good. Combo that with a high shutter speed,
Which mine is right
like-
now. I'm cranking my shutter.
yeah. Nate and I feel like when we were starting to kind of come out with a lot of my films and that Nate was helping me shoot, that was kind of our established look, this really overly sharp look. And we love that look. We love it. And we switched to the C70, which everyone knows has built-in NDs and a shutter angle feature. So there's really never a need to crank your shutter because you can just add an ND or whatever. But with the biggest con of the C70 that, one of the cons that I always missed that I got over, it wasn't a huge deal, well, it was the sharpness. I noticed it just wasn't as sharp as my footage used to be, as I used to like it to look, and comparing it to like FX3 videos wasn't anywhere close. But also I was like, yeah, but it's part of the ecosystem. I love it so much. It's great. But Nate's right. Like the second we got this contract in Vegas, having to shoot in this low light scenarios, it's just been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Cranking our ISO, it just doesn't look good. And the higher, and especially when you're pairing it with like zoom lenses, which you kind of have to when you're doing live events, you have to be able to go wide or tight. And zoom lenses aren't as sharp as primes. So like all those things start to compound. And then I just feel like our footage is just looking very soft. Unless we're shooting in raw light, then it helped a little bit. But
And
then I
there was,
remember on New Year's Eve.
yeah, go ahead.
On New Year's Eve, I had to go up to this exclusive club room at this hotel and shoot this celebrity. Janelle Monáe was performing, and it was just pitch black. And Richard Ney was with us, and I was like, Rich, let me borrow your FX. Was it the FX3?
Yeah, it was
that
the
I borrowed from
FX3.
him?
Yep.
I was like, let me borrow your FX3. So he threw on a 50mm prime, gave me the FX3, and I went up there, and I was just like, the whole time I was just like, this is so nice.
It's pitch black, just singular light
It
bulbs
was.
in this massive
And
room.
it looks like there's a key light in there because I'm at 12,800 ISO. I'm also at 1.2 on the 50. And then I have that digital zoom feature where I can, get a little bit tighter if I need to. And it just looks so good.
Right.
And
Shocking.
that was a moment for me. But again, you dismiss it because our whole ecosystem is Canon.
Right.
And I'm loyal to Canon.
Right.
And so it's just always been like, well, like, it would be such a nightmare to switch. But then push comes to shove. And then for me, Nathan, the final straw was about a week and a half ago. you sent me this color grading video
Oh yeah.
of this creator in New York.
Yeah.
He wasn't even it wasn't even showing off the FX3. He was just
Showing
color
off his
grading.
color grading.
I think A7S3 footage.
Yeah, it was.
And maybe some FX3 clips. I forget. But it's just color grading. And I was just looking at his raw footage. Just there's no lighting. It's just him walking around New York City. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that look.
Right.
And so I was like, just list it, Nathan. And he did. It sold. List of mine. It sold. And
then the next day had to take off for a wedding.
yeah. And then Nate went to B&H, dropped $9,000 on cameras and lenses, and then went to New York to film a huge wedding. So
Yep. Yeah. No, it is fun shooting with this though. Like we've both shot with the FX3 a significant amount of times before.
I've shot with the A7S3 a lot more.
Right.
But yeah, I've dabbled with the FX3 a few times.
A7S3, FX3 are very similar, right? Same sensor and pretty much the same most things. But we weren't jumping in just cold turkey completely. We know how to work Sony ecosystems. We work with it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it would be different. Like we don't just advocate everyone just, hey, the second you feel like you need to switch, just go switch. No, like maybe try renting before, because there's a chance that you could sell everything, buy Sony or buy Canon, whatever the other ecosystem is, and just hate it, not like it as much. So if you are thinking of switching, again, we're not saying Canon is better than Sony or vice versa. Just test out other ecosystems first before you just go decide to drop everything.
And I do think Sony has just kind of been a little bit more innovative the last few years.
I do that.
The pendulum might go back to Canon, but for right now, I just feel like Sony's just making bigger strides.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I missed full frame. That was a big thing.
I know. I was about to say
I really did miss it.
The crop sensor.
I missed the bokeh.
The crop sensor of the C70 was really starting to get kind of annoying.
It's just getting old.
Yeah. It was.
But like, and I think, and maybe this isn't true, but I feel like people, when they kind of compare Canon and Sony, I think they're comparing the wrong things. For us, and I think we just saw this thread posted in our in one of the Facebook groups that we're part of, is you shouldn't be switching cameras for the brand name.
Right.
If you're ever going to switch cameras, it should be because your current camera doesn't compete anymore.
Right.
And I feel like with what we were being asked to do by our clients who are paying us money, comparing our work to the other production companies who were shooting similar hotel content, I was comparing and saying, okay, well, comparatively, our camera isn't doing the job. It needs to be more run and gun. It needs to be sharper. It needs to be better in low light. Basically just saying it needs to be able to adapt a lot quicker to situations.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting that out of the C70.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So it wasn't because like we just want Sony to be Sony. Like I'd even be cool to have. I think Landon has like one of every camera in his arsenal, just for different reasons.
Right.
I'm totally cool with that world. I wouldn't mind having a C70 for needs, an FX3, the new Nikon, Panasonic. I wouldn't mind having one of each.
Right.
Knowing that each one has a different strength and different weakness, a different tool. But it's just kind of like I want all of our ecosystem to be interchangeable. I want to be able to like trade lenses and batteries and not have to worry about it. So that's why that's why I prefer to have like one camera system or one brand, just because it makes life easier.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. We sat down and we said, hey, this is back when we had the C70. We sat down and we said, what do we want? We want to start switching to RF lenses. So we need an RF 50. We want an RF 85. We want an RF 70 to 200. So we were already on this.
2 of those.
2 of those. So we were already on this hunt to replace all of our lenses. And that was going to cost us roughly, what, 10 grand?
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was going to be a lot. It was going to be 5 digits.
Just for the lenses we wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was also another thing, because now, as you were saying, it was just annoying. Like we want everything to be interchangeable. And we were at the point, we had 3 C70s. We had a couple of EOS R adapters, the 0.71 adapters. And it's just a lot to juggle. Like, hey, does that lens work with the 0.71 or does it need the EOS R adapter? And we're just constantly flipping everything. So doing the math, it almost made sense for us to say it's going to be the same amount of money if we just get a couple of FX3s and some great zoom lenses. It's going to be sharper, which is what we like. Going to be better in low light and full frame, which to us, it was like, all right, pros and cons, but it sounds like this could be it for us. So we're excited.
It was
to do
inevitable.
This. Yeah.
Especially since like comparing our travel kit to where it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We're just keep on trying to minimize.
Yep.
And the FX3 just meets those needs a lot better because there's no need for adapters or different lenses for different sensors. It doesn't matter, right? It's all so interchangeable, and it's a much more compact camera in general.
I love how small
the big
it is.
cons so far of the FX3. Surprisingly, I think Sony used to have a horrible rep for two things. Their big two issues were always their color and always their menu system.
Yeah.
I think once the A7 IV came out, they learned a lot from Canon about simplifying your menu system, keeping it customizable, but simplifying it.
Right.
And I think they've put that software into the FX3, which I know is an older camera still, but like I don't think the menu system bothers me as much as I thought it would.
It's not.
And the second thing, that the color, they fixed that. Colors are awesome. And also, like, it's funny how like colors used to be a huge deal to me back then, but now it's like, well, I'm gonna color it anyway, so like I have to adjust my skin tones on Canon, and it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, we shoot.
But I think Sony has great colors now. The big weakness of the FX3 is the monitor. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely have noticed that. The C70 monitor is beautiful.
Great.
Yeah, the C70
So that's
monitor
why
was
I'm having a hard
perfect.
time.
Yeah, just
So we might
gonna
have
be
to
some
start
learning
thinking
curve.
about an external monitor system, which I don't mind.
Yeah, I understand now why people build out their FX3 rigs because they want the Atmos monitor and everything.
Right. So in trade of USR adapters, we're now buying monitors.
Yeah.
Which is even bigger. But well.
Yeah.
We're back to square one.
Back to square one. No, and yeah, like the whole thing with the cranking the shutter. You know, people will say you're being lazy. We say, well, no, not really. Like, it's just preference. We crank the shutter. We used to always crank the shutter. Never even think about it.
Nobody cares.
No one really cares. So
Nobody.
yeah, I will genuinely say though that with the C70, the built-in NDs were the best thing.
I will miss that.
I do miss those. So
because I do already not enjoy the fact that we're gonna have to like screw on or magnetize on NDs.
Yeah.
If we want that, that buttery look.
Yeah, which maybe for the future, our next cameras could be two FX6s or something like that if we're doing a production shoot, because I've seen a lot of production houses, they have FX3s and FX6s, kind of like the FX6 is the main cam with the built-in NDs, and then the FX3s are, B and C cams. But
yeah, I don't know.
I will.
We do want
miss
to
the
sell our
NDs.
Canon R8s and buy FX30s for our C and D cameras.
Yep.
Which it's pretty much just a price swap. They're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Just to kind of be, we've kind of grown in love with having 4 cameras, and I honestly again wouldn't mind keeping the Canon R8s. For what we use them for, time lapses, ceremony cameras, whatever. But again, I just want to be able to know that I can swap lenses interchangeably between my entire system.
Yep.
My whole kit.
Yep.
So here we are on Sony.
And we have 2 lenses right now. We have the GM2 16-35 and the 24-70, which if you've seen anything we ever teach, we teach that the 24-70, if we could recommend one lens and one lens only, 24-70. It was a no-brainer for us.
Right.
It's a beautiful lens.
Nate has 24-70 on right now. I'm rocking the 16-35 right now at 35 millimeter, I think.
Both beautiful lenses.
Yeah.
So next up, we want the 50 mil.
Yep.
85, 70-200. Probably 70-200 first.
Yeah, we'll probably buy Sigma 70-200s.
True. Yep.
Just because I don't care as much.
Yeah.
But GM only for the primes. I'm really excited about getting some GM primes.
Oh, so pretty.
Last time I had a GM85, I dropped it on concrete.
I will forever remember that sound and exactly where we were. Man, just walking.
I had to go have it paid for and Parker never knew, and he'll never know unless he listens to this podcast.
Which I don't think he does.
I sent it in, got it back, returned it. No one knew. It's great.
Except for me and Sam and Nate Taylor, just staring.
And since then, Sam has never let me borrow gear ever. That was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is so petty because Sam drops gear.
Sam is Mr. Holier
and
than
because we switched to Sony, our good friend Samuel Hansen as well.
He switched to Sony because of us.
Just because of us. He like, wow, well, if Jake and Nate are doing it, I'm going to do it as well.
Yep.
And then I saw our good friend Scott out on the East Coast.
Was that
He was
confirmed?
selling his,
Was it confirmed for
no.
Sony? Here we are
He was
committing the
selling
same
his
crime.
C70. He was selling his C70. And I was like, so it begins. He's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just getting rid of this one. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they all say. That's what they all say. And then what's truly funny is our other friend, Dallin, bought the C70s right after we bought the C70s. And he went all in and he bought 3 of them. And
Which we mocked him for.
Which we
and then
mocked him.
We bought 3.
And then we bought 3. But now he's the only one
We
in our
sold
friend
all 3.
group. He's the only one in our friend group with a Canon.
So we're having a Sony party tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to join?
Yeah, big Sony party. Big Sony party.
No, but I'm excited for the Sony.
Me too.
For a lot of reasons. The features I'm most excited about are full frame, the sharpness,
Yep.
and I'm excited to put the color more.
Yeah.
I think the Sony has a fun color palette. We're gonna be trying out. I mean, we're huge believers in gamut. Love gamut. Served by gamut.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be playing with their conversion LUTs mixed with our and Brady Bissett's new LUT
Yeah.
pack just dropped. I'm excited to try that out.
Yeah. Did you
Also
check
maybe
your
put in some
Gamut
Phantom
account?
LUTs. I did. Gamut gifted it to us.
Yes, they did.
That was so kind of them.
Yes.
Everyone listening after buying it. What the
Sorry.
perks of being partners with Gamut.
Yeah, and Brady. We know Brady very well. So
Yeah, Brady's a homie.
yeah.
We gotta shoot with Brady sometime.
Yeah.
And also like I'm genuinely like excited just to kind of carry a camera around with me more in my life.
Me too.
I never ever brought the C70 with me anywhere.
Dude,
it
that's
was just too big, and it wasn't like a tourist camera.
yeah.
And I'd rather, if I'm touring, to have like a small tourist camera with me. But to carry the C70 around, I just felt like it was like over the top, and people kind of like look at you like, why are you holding that huge?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to actually just carry around a camera throughout my life and film more of my life.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, that's one of maybe the biggest things for me. That's why I was so pumped when we got the R8 because, you know, it was just small, takes videos, it takes pictures, which the C70 does not take pictures.
No,
the FX3 does. I don't care how good or bad people argue, but it takes pictures and they're good enough. I believe it's a 20 megapixel sensor, which is phenomenal.
I just need the moment captured. I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care about, you know, photography that much
Because it's just more like life documentation. You know?
Exactly. And I think like even just being in New York City, just barely, I was able to put the little Peak Design backpack clip on, just put my FX3 on there with the 24-70 and just walk around, and it doesn't add like any weight to me. Whereas with the C70, it turns heads. It turns heads. People see it and like, what is that?
Did you get me one of those P Design things?
Yeah, it's in your bag.
Oh, is it?
Man, you want to know what's actually hilarious though? So, first day in New York City. What was this? Friday? Walking around with my wife Kayla, and you know, just trying out some taco shops and stuff. And I'm like geeking out to her about the FX3. Like, yeah, me and Jake just switched to the this Sony FX3, and I'm loving it because it's so much smaller. It takes pictures. The other one was so clunky, and I started really getting into the weeds with it. And I'm walking down the street, and there's these 2 people filming, and I see them with Ronins. And whenever you see someone filming, you start checking them out, see what gear they're running. And they're like filming this model walking around, and they're both filming on just the most rigged out C70s I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I'm holding my little FX3, and I'm like, that's the camera we switched out. And Kayla was like, what? Are you kidding me?
It looks cooler.
She's like, wow, those are nice cameras. I'm like, yeah, that's what we just sold for this little guy.
Pretty funny. No regrets.
No regrets. No, I'm stoked. Honestly, it's fun as well, just learning kind of the new ecosystem as well, and just getting used to it.
I was getting kind of bored.
Love this little thing.
Awesome. I just found my Peak Design thing. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I love that thing.
Man, the rack to focus on the C70 when I hold a product is actually kind of crazy. And then back to my eye. Back to the product, back to my eye.
Wait, with the C70 or FX3?
Sorry, the FX3. I'm just like holding it up.
Yeah.
And it's racking so well.
No, yeah, that's something I
You
noticed.
got to appreciate a good rack.
Dude, you got to. Anyway, when I was filming, I noticed that the autofocus I really, really liked on the FX3 over the C70. I really liked it. It did a really great job.
Yeah.
So in the coming weeks,
Safe to say
we'll
we're
be testing
excited
a lot
about
more.
this journey.
Yeah, we're stoked about this. It's a new us.
I know. Yeah, guys, we can talk in circles about this all day, but we switched to Sony. We have no regrets. We're happy to answer any of your questions. Leave them in the comments below. Yeah, I think we're also wanting to kind of reinvigorate our YouTube channel with more job shadows, and so kind of excited to kind of do it through a Sony now, which would be fun. And probably if I do end up buying a monitor, I might get the Atomos because I want to screen record my screen so we can show our settings. Not even I don't even care about RAW. I just want to. I really don't. I maybe I should. I don't, but I probably will. I'm probably gonna eat these words later. But just to kind of show like screen record settings and show how we're doing it. Everyone can judge our 4,000 shutter, which I don't care.
Didn't you have a monitor? Did Nate Taylor steal that?
I was just thinking, I actually do have a Ninja V.
I was about to say, I thought you had one.
So, great.
I'm set. Yeah.
Awesome. You guys, if you have any questions for us about Sony, let us know in the comments. We're kind of spending the next few weeks. We don't have any weddings for a few weeks, so we're kind of spending the next few weeks just like diving into tons of content. Nate and I are kind of figuring out how we want our rig to look like.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways you can rig up a FX3, and we kind of want to find one that matches our style and our work ethic. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Any announcements, Nathan? Do we have any announcements?
If you guys haven't heard, we've switched to Sony. That's the biggest announcement. The webinar should be live now. We announced that last episode?
Yeah, if it's not live tomorrow, it'll be live in a week.
Yeah, that's what's playing on my screen behind here. Yeah, that's the webinar.
So yeah, we created a webinar. It's a free 45-minute training, you guys. It should be live hopefully within the next few days. Really just, like we said last week, just 10 things we wish we knew, that I feel like would have shortened our learning curve a ton if they were taught to us. And so no paywall, just free information.
Yep.
Just want to kind of get it out there, and
I'd say it's a pretty good webinar. It's value packed. Other announcements, I'd say we're still honing in on the Champagne Club. We're in some final discussions about that, and we're excited to kind of.
It's coming.
Yeah.
We know everybody has a coaching program, but we're really excited about this. And it would have been we promise you, it was built out, it was ready to go, it was almost fully done in December.
Right.
And then we got this client, and it consumed our January, and then our February. I feel like I haven't even seen Nathan.
Yeah,
I don't know where February went. It's already over.
Dude, I remember being in Vegas and saying January's already over. And now it's February. February's done.
Well, I feel like the Super Bowl was like yesterday.
Dude, And
then I feel like Groundhog Day was yesterday.
Groundhog Day was a big one for us.
I feel like I was just looking at Punxsutawney Phil and being like, dang.
Wow.
Wait, why was Groundhog Day a big one for us?
No, I was just saying, big Groundhog Day people over here.
Yeah, I celebrate privately.
Did he see his shadow this year? He did, right?
Yeah, I did. Early spring.
Also,
if anybody has any connections with Sony, we would love to become ambassadors for them so that we don't have to buy any of these lenses.
Somebody help us out here.
Yeah, I was about to reach out to their marketing program. I was like, man, I just don't want to buy any of these lenses.
Yeah.
And I would love to create content for them and sponsorships, whatever it costs. I will sell my soul for some G Masters.
If you
guys want any gear, let us know. We're selling all of our gear. So.
Yeah. But I'd say that about does it for us this week, unless you have any other thing, Jacob.
No, just a little update. That
you had your birthday last week.
Oh, frick. Yeah.
That was an update.
28.
What'd you do? See a movie?
I woke up, played video games.
Nice.
Went to the gym.
Nice.
Had a great workout.
Nice.
Ate Chipotle for lunch. Chicken bowl. Very lean. Kenzie came home. We went to Sol Agave.
Okay.
One of my favorite restaurants.
Fantastic place.
Got the chicken mole and had some other chips and beans, which is amazing. And then after, we were going to go see a movie, but I felt pretty lazy. So instead, went to the movie theater, grabbed a bucket of popcorn, came home. That's so funny.
Because it's more work for you to go to the theater and get the popcorn and then go home. than it is to just go to the movie. So if you're feeling lazy, you could have
You're
just
not
stayed
wrong.
at the theater.
Well, I brought my bucket with me to the dinner, so I already had the bucket. So I just like on the way home, I just like swapped by, grabbed the popcorn.
Hey, babe, just a quick stop at the Megaplex.
Got a whiff of the environment, and then I forget what we watched. I think we just watched the morning show. I've been watching the morning show recently.
Not the one with Steve Carell?
Yeah, I love it.
I need a new series to watch.
Try the morning show. It's a little cussy, but
Hey, if I can get through
like it a
Ted
lot.
Lasso, you can get through
but
anything.
it's not Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso's cussing, you don't even notice.
You stop hearing it because it's British. This you hear it, but it's really interesting. It's like
Okay.
it's very political, but like they don't play biases. Yeah,
Okay.
and Jennifer Aniston does an amazing job. Steve Carell is brilliant. Reese Witherspoon is hard to like, but she does a good job. I think it's just the way her character's written, but it's hard to like her. And then there's a lot of other incredible people in the cast. I'm trying to get to season 3 because I saw this clip on Instagram. What triggered me to watch this show is what's the guy's name? Oh, I already forgot his name. John Hamm. I love John Hamm.
I like John Hamm.
And he's apparently he comes in season 3, so I'm excited to get to that. So yeah, that was my birthday. It was a great
nice.
day. And then we had presents and got some Nutella biscuits, some whatchamacallit bars, some Oreos, some workout stuff, and a new cookbook, which I'm really excited about.
Ooh. Is it like a brisket thing or just like a cookbook?
No, it's just like
General
good
cookbook.
meals from Magnolia. Yeah,
Good old Magnolia.
Market. Yeah.
Dang, sounds like
So
a
I'll
good
be
birthday.
cooking up. It was good. 28. I've been, you know what? I'm going to save it for next. Well, I'll just mention it since we're talking about it. Was very reflective on my birthday. For those of you who have stayed to the end of this podcast.
the last 10 minutes of rambling.
Yeah. Very, very reflective. Because the week before that, I did a personal trip to Arizona.
Yeah.
To see some family, and it was just great. And got to take my brother-in-law. We had some great conversations. But like, I feel like 35 for some reason is like a solid number to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like your mid 30.
Right.
And I'm 7 years away from that, and 7's a good number too.
7's a great number.
Iconic number.
Yep.
So I'm kind of picturing like I was like, what is my? I'm calling it my ascent to 35.
I like that.
And I wrote it down. I've kind of been making goals, but like, why not make some crazy goals, big goals, really aim for the stars here, on where I want to be when I'm 35 in 7 years.
Okay.
And that's kind of what triggered me wanting to have our goals meeting session tomorrow, Nathan.
Do you want to talk about this on the next podcast?
No, too
Okay.
personal.
Okay.
Our viewers don't deserve the information I'm about to divulge.
But you're about to give it to him anyway.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Oh,
being
nice.
reflective.
Nice.
That's all. That's all I get.
I thought you were about to walk through your whole goal.
No,
your
what I
goal
think it's
checklist.
Hormozy says, never let them know your next move.
Yeah. Just like the
Yeah.
most random goals.
No, I just like, yeah, I feel like 28 is like an interesting, because I was like, 20,
Yeah.
who cares? But I was like,
28.
no, it's like 7 years from 35.
Yeah, you're closer to 35 than you are to 20.
I never thought about that. That's depressing. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, just like a lot, I'm becoming a father this year. I'm
Right.
already a father technically, but,
Right.
child's coming into this world in June. So no, I just kind of think about what do the next 7 years look like.
Yeah.
How do I want to be as a father, as a businessman,
You're going to have a
partner.
7-year-old, man.
I know, and that's another thing.
Crazy.
When I'm 35, my child will be 7, which would be awesome.
That's so cool to think about.
And then the 8 to 13-year-old phase is the one I'm dreading. Mainly for boys. We're having a baby girl, but
Yeah.
the 7 to 13-year-old phase for boys is where I'm like, oh man, give me all the drugs.
Give me the drink and knock me out.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, I'm
So yeah,
excited.
birthday month is over for both of us.
Yeah. February is a good month. March is going to
28.
be good. Yeah, we're 28. Crazy.
I'll see you guys if you're still listening. Nathan and I are toying with the idea. We're doing our Ireland workshop at the end of this year with
Right.
Emma Kay, which we're stoked about. It's gonna be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, can't wait.
Yeah.
We didn't do a spring workshop this year, purely out of laziness. And we were just busy after our last workshop doing courses. Just didn't have any time to breathe. but we're toying with the idea of doing a possible summer workshop. And if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments where you want it to be. It's easy if it's in Utah, but we also would love to kind of go and meet people and travel. Tossed around the idea of another New York trip, or possibly
Austin.
Miami or Austin, Texas.
California.
I think we missed our window for Austin because it'd be too hot
It
by
would
the
be
time.
really
if it's in the
hot.
summer.
Yeah.
No one would enjoy it.
Yeah. California, New York,
Maybe
Florida.
California. Maybe we do an Oregon.
Ooh, Oregon would be
PNW.
good. Yep. Or
Maybe
the good
Dawn,
old
Morgan,
Salt Lake
KBR.
City.
I know. It's easy to do Salt Lake.
It is. Yeah.
So let us know, guys. We love to. We watched our workshop recap video, or I did the other day, and I was like, I miss that.
That was a great
environment.
workshop. Yeah, that was fun. That was really
It was
fun. Well,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. We'll cut the rambling.
yeah, we're just talking, guys.
Yeah.
This is a very unorganized
Yeah,
episode.
we
just
switched to Sony.
Wanted to let you know we switched.
Well, we will. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or on Instagram, or email us, and we will get back to you. But yeah, we'll see you next week.